Yo, what's up? It's EVO Camera here. Today I'm back here with the Civic LX coupe. Pretty sure this is gonna be my first time showing it on this channel. As I told you guys, I had another project other than the Camry that's all the way over there, by the way. So originally this car had some issues. The idle air control valve was dirty. I had to swap it from another Civic that luckily I had right over there. It looks like whoever had this air intake was ripping. That's why they put so much tape. And also the filter wasn't even connected to anything, so I had to add one from my Camry. Another thing is that all the spark plugs was bad. I had to swap them out from the Camry. I had to put my Camry's battery, but this battery is too big for this car, so I'm gonna need to keep something like this over it so the terminals don't touch the hood by any chance and, you know, make a short somewhere. What else? I did motor treatment, wiped it all out, cleaned all the injectors. Had to change this hose, it was leaking. Right now I'm gonna need to change this, the temperature sensor, it's right on top, and then I'm gonna go ahead and change the thermostat, which is gonna be the lower hose. When I ran this car, the ECU was bad. I had just got that reprogrammed yesterday. It was causing the car to be in limp mode, so I couldn't pass like around 40 miles per hour, and it was just really slow off the rip. Reason why the car does that is so you don't damage it. When the ECU goes bad, you don't want to be running on high speeds, so the computer puts you on limp mode. I'm gonna need to find some more nuts to go over the other ones. They didn't have any. Another thing is that the fans weren't moving when they were supposed to. I don't know if that was because the ECU was bad or is that because of the sensor. And also I need to change the thermostat. So the other thing I did was change the fuel pump. It was bad completely. It didn't want to read the gas tank. And then I changed the rear drum brakes, which was fairly more easy than I thought it was going to be. And the wheel bearing. So it's going to be a fun car on this channel. I know exactly what I'm going to do to it, but as you know, there's still work to do. And I'm going to do test runs, show you guys how it's running, making sure everything's good. I'm probably going to end up taking this off anyways because I'm going to end up replacing these for an upgrade, so I don't need this heat shield. Alright, so I'm going to get to work. I'm going to see if I can try to get it with this right here. Should look like that. Alright, so it looks like that's not going to work, so I actually got the socket and it actually does fit, so we're going to go ahead and twist it now. I'm going to try to keep my camera set up like this. It might fall, but just twist left, and there it broke loose. And there you go, it's out. Should look like that. Alright, I got the new one right here. It should come like with a little washer, or I guess the original came with like a little piece of rubber, but I'm not going to be using that because it's all worn out. Just gonna go ahead and use this, what I got from AutoZone. Alright, just gonna go ahead and hand thread it in first. I'm not sure if this needs any thread lock or anything. I didn't see if it had any. Now you just tying it, not too much. You don't want to mess the threads up. Just keep it snug right there. If you have one of those sockets where it tells you the foot-pounds of torque, you can go ahead and look that up. I just do everything how I feel like, so not everything needs to be perfect, alright? Unless you want to build like a race car or something, then I would be worried. But now I'm gonna go ahead and remove the clamp. These are original clamps, so I'm not a really big fan of these type of clamps. I really like the easy clamps more, where you twist on, kind of like this one. So yeah, so I'm gonna try to show you here with one hand. Kind of just I'll grab those two ends and squeeze them and pull it off. I did remove this one before and it was really hard because of how long it's been sitting there, so it might be a little tough, but just pull, clamp, pull, and pull the hose at the same time. Try to wiggle it out. So yeah, as I suspected, it's really tight, so I can see it coming off. So I went ahead and just pulled the clamp down, left the pliers clamped. That way I don't have to hold it and then pull it. So now you can just pull out the hose. but keep wiggling. If you're like mine, it's been sitting for a while. This car's haven't been worked on, so everything is hard. All right, I went ahead and got it super loose. So this is the reveal. If there's gonna be any coolant or water at all. When I got in this car, it didn't have any. I kind of put a little bit just to run, test drive. So if you're like mine, then it doesn't have any. All right, so now that it's off, you gotta take off that bolt right there, that 10 millimeter. I'm pretty sure it's 10 millimeter. And then there should be one on this side right there. Make sure you disconnect this sensor and make sure you don't snap it, because you know then you're gonna need to buy a new one. Moment of truth. It is 10 millimeter right there. It's gonna fit. Okay, now for this side, left side, snaps pretty easy. Hard to do with one hand and record, so I'm gonna go ahead and take this off. Once you broke the second one loose, you should see that it's starting to open up right there, that little gap. Okay, it's not gonna twist with my hand yet, but you see what I'm talking about. This is what the thermostat looks like. It's no good.
Then
Looks like
new.
Looks like they've been using fodder. This is what the housing looked like. Really old, you know, all types of rust. What I'm gonna go ahead and do is take off this other sensor, clean it, clean the inside, everything really good. Make sure it looks nice and shiny, or somewhat. And I'm gonna replace this.
Dun.
This is the new one. Voltearlo. There you go. And the gasket. Alright, so I went ahead and sanded it and just painted it with some paint I had laying around. Doesn't look too bad. So I'm gonna let it dry. I don't really think I have to let it dry all the way because the paint cures with heat, so I'm gonna let it run and it's gonna cure it. It's better than what it looked like, that's for sure. So I don't really care. Just wanted to paint it a little bit. Went ahead and sanded inside a little bit where the gas is gonna lay, so make sure you do that. Okay, don't forget to connect the connector here. You'll hear it click like that. Make sure you put the seal around the thermostat where it ridges. This is new versus old. So remember how you took it out, is that's the way it's gonna go in. So the way that I took it out was facing the top. So that means that it went in like this, like that. And it's gonna push in on this end to where you took it off from right there. Let me turn my flashlight. Hold on. Make sure that you hand thread them first like that, and then go ahead and tighten it with the socket. Then you can plug in the sensor after. All right, there you go. Again, I'm just torquing it how I think it is. It's enough snugged. You know, you can go ahead and look up all the specifics if you want to, really. And that's it. And I think the paint job looks pretty good. From afar, it looks like it's brand new, basically. If you want to skip all that sanding and stuff, you could really just buy a new one. It's pretty cheap, but didn't need it. So right now, just plug in that sensor, clamp back on your hose, make sure that it's snug. I got it in the right spot, so there you go. Let me know if you guys want the link in the description where I got this stuff. Really, I got this at the auto parts store, and also the thermostat. It's pretty basic parts. But, so we're back at the Camry. Every time I get to it, just reminds me of everything. So I'm gonna try to make this quick. But I came here because I wanted to see if I can still use my radiator cap, because it looks like the one on the Honda is really messed up and old, really cramped up in here. It is still there. Don't know if it bent or not. I'm gonna try to get it right here. It's right over there. Sorry, it's hard to see. I can't turn my flashlight anymore because my battery's too low. I'm gonna go ahead and pull it out. Looks fine to me. It's like a little dirty. Oh yeah, I know what that was. It was stop leak, the powder that the liquid has. When I forgot to shake it and I just dumped it straight in, so went to top of the radiator cap right there. What we're gonna do is use water just for the meantime because I want to see if it's gonna be leaking or not. I don't want to overfill it with antifreeze and then make it go all to waste. I gotta make sure that all the stuff that I put on is not leaking first. All right, there it's on. Turn on the dash lights. Woo! Honda, baby. So when the ECU was bad, the RPMs were only going up to 4,000, not letting the car get the right amount of power for each gear. Because it was in limp mode, I only could go up to 4,000 and it was really slow. And half the time the RPMs were not even showing, or the temperature gauge. Right now I'm keeping an eye on it because I need to make sure that it doesn't overheat with the thermostat and the way I sealed it. I think I'm starting to see it move past the C a little bit. Yeah, so it's moving up very slowly. I've seen that the maintenance required light has turned off, so that's good. All I need to do is like an oil change later. But I need to test drive it, see what's up. Time to feel the actual power of this motor. So you should do things right the first time. It's now 2 a.m. I had to go to AutoZone, get a radiator. It made it like 2 minutes before they closed. The radiator was leaking. I found that out later. First, it was leaking from the thermostat. I should have put sealant to begin with, and I should have already known that because I replaced the thermostat like 10 times on the Camry, and every time that I didn't add sealant, it was leaking. So I totally forgot about that. But yeah, I added sealant. It stopped leaking. Then it was leaking from the radiator. Found out that the radiator was cracked from the bottom, so I went ahead and replaced that. And now we're good. We're staying in the middle, no overheating. Car sounds great. Just a few moments it sounds like a little stutter. I noticed that the exhaust manifold has a big gap in between the gasket and the actual manifold, so that needs to be fixed. One of the threads snapped. Somebody over tightened it and it snapped in half, so I have no bolt to really thread on anymore. The thread's too short, and the exhaust in this car is hanging in the bottom really bad and it's smashed, so I'm really scraping the exhaust everywhere I drive. I'm most likely just going to cut it off because I don't even want to hang it back up. It looks ugly. The whole like exit of the pipe is just bent. Alright, good news and bad news. The good news is that the car is not turning off anymore like how it used to. RPMs are reading, gauge is reading, not leaking anymore. Bad news is that the ECU wasn't the problem on why the car had no power. It's because of the catalytic converters that are clogged on this damaged exhaust. Let me show you guys what I was talking about, the pipe being damaged. It's very smashed, and the pipe doesn't look too good either. Can't really see it back there, but yeah, it's scraping and it's clogged. It's not letting the car get back pressure that it needs. So I'm stuck around 40 miles per hour hitting 8,000 RPMs.